Now, when I'm listening to this, I'm not really sure if the dispatchers can do a whole lot when it comes to what the cops do. So I'm not sure why the dispatchers are getting sued in this, but I've got you a story. It's coming from out of Louisville. Some cops did not respond for just a tad over 3 hours for a domestic abuse case. Neighbors below called 911. They said, hey, this is something that's going on. There's a whole lot of bad from the sounds of it. And after I show you the news from from the Louisville market, that LMPD, I'm going to read some of the threats that were done to this poor woman. So we're going to get into that. And if you like these kinds of stories or are just wanting to know that these stories are getting publicized, hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll take care of the situation as they come up. So let's get into the story.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
The call came in at 6:13 p.m.
There's a domestic disturbance in the condo below us.
Neighbors call 911 saying they could hear a man and a woman arguing.
We'll get somebody out there. If anything changes or gets worse, you give us a call back, okay?
The call is less than 3 minutes, but it's what happens over the course of the next 3 hours that's the center of this lawsuit. The call log says officers were on their way by 6:27, but it doesn't say anyone showed up until 9:23. 3 hours later.
So there's just this big 3 hour gap, which happens to be the worst thing you can imagine happening to somebody. She's being tortured basically for 3 hours.
The lawsuit claims the woman was beaten unconscious, causing several bones in her face to break and brain damage. It also states she was threatened with pliers, a hammer, and a large knife. That knife was stabbed into her kitchen table. When police did show up,
Her face is just covered in blood. You know, she ended up with all these broken bones, brain damage, and had to have part of an orbital bone, replaced with a prosthesis.
There's more. The arrest report doesn't show an arrest was made until the next day. Richard Gregory wasn't put behind bars until more than 24 hours after the initial call was made. The woman had an emergency protective order against him.
How do you leave him there by himself? Family could have come over to check on her. Neighbors could have come down to say, hey, we heard some commotion. Is everything okay? Right? So things could have been even worse.
We are not naming the woman because it's a domestic violence case, but we did find she and Gregory have a history. In both 2017 and 2018, he was found guilty of assault.
I've done this for over 30 years. I was a prosecutor, and I've done a lot of stuff with these type cases, similar cases. I have no explanation. That's at least one that makes sense in terms of how police want to do their jobs, the way we want police to do their jobs.
The arrest report from last year says the bleed in her brain was so severe it was life-threatening. She was taken to U of L Hospital for a higher level of care.
Not just the physical things, but I mean the experience of being there for 3 hours and fearing this is the end. This is how I'm leaving the world, is having this guy torturing me, beating me, and nobody's coming, and this is the end.
LMPD sent us a statement saying the department answered nearly 25,000 domestic violence calls last year. Officers do their best to manage these volatile situations with the sanctity of life set as the highest priority.
It's a high-risk situation. It demands an immediate response. And 3 hours is certainly not immediate.
I've had dealings with LMPD. I'm not a fan of theirs, but if you pay attention to my channel, then you notice that all police departments, if they're doing wrong, I will point them out. Louisville Metro Police Department does a lot of wrong. But here is what the ex-boyfriend did to the lady. Told her that she was not allowed to leave, twisted her arm and threatened to break it if she tried to leave or call for help, menaced her with pliers, a hammer, a large knife, all within inches of her face, refused to allow her to use her phone to call for help, placed a hand over her nose and mouth so that she could not breathe, reportedly threatened to take her out in a final manner, struck her multiple times in the face, breaking her orbital bone and other bones in her face and skull, and causing her permanent injuries, including brain damage and need for orbital bone prosthesis and surgery, beat her unconscious, and caused her permanent memory loss. Yep, this is what happens when you're in an area where LMPD is concerned. Well, unless you're, politically important or something, I guess. What I saw while I was there, yeah, didn't give me a lot of faith in LMPD. So, yeah, I kind of considered them the Keystone Cops of cops. But this has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. I thought I'd bring this to your attention. Have a good day, y'all. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.